What's up, guys? StudFit here. We have episode 29, which is episode 3 of season 2 of Kart Talk. Welcome, everyone. How are you guys doing?
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey, everybody.
Good. The most familiar face here, we have Jeeves. Welcome, bud. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. It's been a while, actually. So.
Yeah, it's you debuted on episode 2 of season 1, and Larry is back for his almost nearly exactly to the minute 1-year anniversary from his first face reveal. Welcome, Larry98. How are you doing?
Hey.
Yeah, hi, I'm doing good. I'm very excited for the episode. Thanks for having me.
You're gonna have to harness that excitement because it's 3 a.m. where you're at. So
Yeah,
we appreciate you taking the time out of your restful period to join us. And then just now joining us, we got Frenzy Grind. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Thank you. Thank you for waiting.
We got you, man. It's all right. Everyone's tuning in.
It's a disaster over here. Sorry.
Hey, dude, I've been there. In fact, I think we have some. My wife's dog is giving birth to some puppies overnight, so we got some stuff going on in our house too. I completely get it. We also have 2 people who are joining us for the second time in their kart life career. We have EDietel and Godmode. Welcome. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. It's so cool to be on with a group of guys that we've had a chance to get to know each other. Communicating messages, but this is different. This is very cool. So
EDietel, by the way, Mets are winning 5-2.
Thank you, Frenzy Grind. Thank you for the update.
No
I
problem.
wore a Mets shirt in LA and I was walking around and you could not imagine the stares that I was getting. It was bad.
We got, at this point in time, I don't even think about baseball. I'm thinking about football. We got football season on the way. We're kicking off our fantasy football league. I'm so excited. We got 14 teams, including the Tabers running. We're so pumped about that. But we got lots to talk about. And I'm not joking. We have a Bowser tour that it's very unique. We'll get into a lot of that. Hopefully we don't get Larry98 triggered on some of his very strong beliefs. We got Miis that are taking over the game. We're going to be discussing a lot about that. And then we have some other preferences and strategies, and we'll get into all of that here together, including also hearing a little bit about some of our experiences for All Cup ranking and for Ranked Cup, etc. So we're going to first kick things off with an icebreaker from Tim Torch, Torchy Torch. His brother added him as a friend on Mario Kart Tour. So nice of him, right? This was a couple months ago. The tour, however, this tour, he hasn't even logged in. And he isn't sending coins. So the question is, how long before it is acceptable to replace his brother, or in this case, one of your friends that has added you, before you delete them off your friends list? So this is more of an opinion question, a question that's a little bit based in etiquette, a little bit based on personal preference and wanting to be aligned with your morals and judgments. But how long would you wait before not getting coins from somebody? Other than Carlos85, before you delete that person off your friends list? Who wants to start us off with the icebreaker? Everyone has to answer this one.
I mean, I've had so my ex coworker who got me into this game. I had him on my friends list, obviously, and he stopped playing the game 2 or 3 times. So as he stopped playing the game, I deleted him 2 or 3 times. I was like, as I started playing and getting into community discords and making friends, I needed the space. It was like, you got to go. So 2 or 3 times he emails me and he's like, oh, I started playing the game again. Can you put me back on your friends list? I'm like, yeah, sure. About 2 weeks ago, he emails me again. He's like, oh, started playing the game again. I'm like, sorry, bro, I can't do it for the 3rd time. I can't, because I got people who play the game consistently who are really quality players, and I've grown relationships with, and I just can't do it. And he doesn't work with me anymore, so it's not like I see him much anymore. But it's a little different from a brother. Obviously, you have contact with your brother. You can ask him, you done or what? So for me, I just no, 2 or 3 times is enough for me.
And coins are a scarce resource now, so you need every coin you can possibly get. I get that too, but at least it's not awkward around the water cooler, so you got that going for you.
Yep.
EDietel, were you going to jump in on that?
I mean, I feel unqualified to answer this because I'm an only child, so these sibling dynamics are a little bit foreign to me. But my feeling is this game is ruthless. Bots and blue shells show no mercy, and neither should you, Tim. So my advice is drop them yesterday and show some tough love.
I like it.
Godmode, what do you think, man?
I literally have had friends on my list that I've had for 2.5 years. I don't talk to them. I've added them on Facebook. I will never delete them. I will always keep them, coin or not. It's just, they've always been there. As far as sending coins, I don't really get upset if I don't get one. I try to send them, but it's a lot to, if they could do a select all button and send, I would send coins first thing at 11 o'clock. As far as deleting people, I don't really delete people that don't send coins. Most of the people on my friends list are my friends. I mean, besides maybe a new ER member or a new member, I always add. So it's always tough to delete somebody. But if I do, I always get a DM going, hey, what did I do? Or what's going on? So it's always tough to delete somebody. So I tend to just keep the ones I got. And if I happen to wake up one day and I'm at 49, obviously somebody deleted me and now I have room. So it's, for me, it's not really a coin issue, I guess. I usually just keep the ones I got. I don't really focus on deleting or, stuff like that.
Well, before we got started, you promised Baby Jeeves that you would add her to your friends list. So
yes.
Somebody better watch out. They're going to be like a Survivor getting voted off the island.
Well, that's the tough part, is because everybody I have on my list right now are all my friends. Like I probably added 4 or 5 in the past month. They were just new guys. So I will clip somebody for Little Miss Jeeves. Yes. I have I send Little Jeeves a coin every day.
Yeah.
Every day he gets a coin. I mean, Jeeves is my brother. So it's like, like for me, it's like, that's just more like, it just seems like that's something I wanted to do. So sorry to the person who doesn't have it later on.
Yeah, Jeeves, you want to take that answer right after you show off your brand new hoodie?
Oh yeah, get the hoodie. This is awesome.
Awesome, dude.
Very comfortable.
Is it warm? Perfect for August? I guess in
I'm
Chicago,
hoping to sport this off on a Bears game, and then I'll have a full body paint job under it. So when I take it off, it'll be ready. So
me too.
well,
Thank you, Studfit, for the shirt.
Oh yeah!
Wow.
So
Classy.
I actually got this because during that fun birthday celebration, you noticed like you had like your Etsy store, and you said you've only sold one thing.
It was a phone case.
Get a hoodie. I'm gonna have him 2 things that he sold. So look up StudFit's store. This is pretty good stuff here.
Yeah, say what's comfort level on a scale from 1 to 10?
Pretty comfortable, man. I mean, I might have to take it off later because it is kind of warm in here, but I really.
Whoa, you did scare us one time and said that you were going to take your clothes off on a Kart Talk episode.
Yeah.
So just wait till we're done recording. I don't want to get kicked off.
So
of
stay tuned.
But StudFit on Etsy. Check us out if you like some of the merch. Go ahead, Jeeves. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't know. The friends list thing, doesn't really. I mean, I haven't really touched it in a long time. I've always said, no, I'm gonna have my list, and then I'm gonna reshuffle and invite new people in and stuff. And I've never done that because like I just kind of just go with what I have. I think what when Godmode said, I wish there was a select all, and so I think the point of doing the coins is you can kind of compare yourself to your friends list. I think that's the actual objective of it. So like a select all thing isn't going to do that, and it is kind of cool to say, oh, EDietel, he got, he's killing ranks. Like I would have known that if
that's a good point.
I haven't been doing those greeting coins, because like I know he goes in all in giant banana. So like it was at one tour, like he got pictures chief, and then I remember noticing it on the server. So if someone I like to keep it to like kind of my friends. If there's some people that's kind of like I don't know who they are off in the distance, I'll remove them. I would only remove people that I just kind of lost touch with, and if I do remove them, it would be someone that probably wouldn't notice. So I've done that. But yeah, so I don't know what really the etiquette is. I can kind of see how people like if I've been removed from people's lists, and I'll be like, what did I do? Did I piss you off? Did I do something? Like no.
You scored too many points, man. You can't be making people.
Well, I think some people like will remove people from their friends list because they're doing like an ACR run and they don't want people seeing their scores.
Yeah, that's a little different, but yeah, that does happen. It does happen. What about
do,
you, Larry 98?
I do have a funny story before you
Oh.
get to Larry. Before I that I think you'd find funny. So when I first started the game and I jumped into Sammy's Discord, I was looking for friends to complete the challenges. So I was going down the list, and I found you. So I friended you, and I wasn't on the frenzy grind yet. I was under my first name. I just started the game. I didn't really know what was going on. I just wanted to complete the challenges. So I befriended a bunch of people. They accepted. I was happy about it. StudFit, I accepted you. You accepted me. 3 days later, you deleted me. I was so pissed off. I was like, why did you delete me? And I think I was mad.
I'm
for
sorry,
2
man.
days.
I didn't know Z.
I know you didn't know. That's the funny part. I know you didn't know. I just found it hilarious. I never told you that.
The modern day, like back in the 90s when you had like the speed dial on your phones, and like who gets left up, like there's a whole Seinfeld episode on it where someone gets deleted off the speed dial.
It had to be an ER member that just joined that he needed room for. So.
Well, yeah, I'll get into my experience here in a second. I want to open things up for Larry 98, but I will say it is unique. With running ER and also having this is a perk where they get to add me. So, well, sorry, Larry, I'm cutting you off. But anyway, I'm going to run with it. So then we did all these. So one of the perks for our stud members, which is like about $5 a month or so, and so one of the perks is you get to add me as a friend. And so, that's been great because I've been kind of hovering around 40, 50 of those members in addition to the super studs. And then people started gifting all these memberships. And so I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And so, unfortunately I've had to delete, I think, Coffee in ER, he was like, dude, you just deleted me. And I was like, dude, I'm sorry. Like unfortunately this is going to happen because this is like a perk, and he understood. And, but yeah, I've had to do a lot of deleting over a period of time. And so my apologies for the early deletes, but now you're forever cemented into my friends.
I'm not mad. I'm just saying.
I'm glad you mentioned that story live on Kart Talk because I never heard it before.
I wanted to tell you on the first time I was on, but we just never got to that subject. So.
And if you need room, dude, delete me. I don't, that's fine. I won't take offense.
Oh, that's coming. Trust me.
All right, we'll get to you now. Larry, what about you, man? What's the etiquette? How would you treat this situation if you were in it?
No, I would wait, like, I don't know, maybe 2 tours, and if they don't play, I would delete them. But of course, it depends if I know the person. Like, for example, Pafton wasn't playing for I don't know how many weeks, but I was kept sending coins every day. And back when I sent coins, because right now I'm a bit lazy with sending coins, so that's also not an issue if someone doesn't send me coins. And I would then first delete those people who I don't really know, or I don't know because they kept changing the name. Like, I think I already have like 2 people who have names I don't know who they are even. Like, why they should keep they should keep the name so that I know who they are, and not always switching every 2.
I'm gonna do an experiment right now. I'm gonna delete someone and see if they notice.
That person on this call, are they?
Let me check
to me first.
Let me check my account.
Well, I will say, Hero This Guy is 27 has asked this question, I think 3 Kart Talks in a row. So it never really was organically coming up. So I'll put it in there now. Will Nintendo ever expand the friends list to 75 or 100 friends? Do you think that's ever within the realm of possibility?
I don't see why they have not. I mean, it should. I mean, I don't really see what the big deal. I think if a certain amount of racers were to write into Nintendo and just express that we would like to have, it might take a little bit, but they do listen. So there's a possibility in the future that it could change. I mean, hopefully we'll see. But I think if anything, if people want that to change, you just got to write tickets to Nintendo and just tell them, hey, you know, I have friends that I want to add and I can't because I just don't have the room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hard to delete people, especially your friends. You know what I mean? So it's hard to rotate is tough. You know what I mean? Some of the
Well,
friends
if you have to think about it, sending one coin to 100 friends, that's 100 coins. That's you know 300 clicks that you're doing just to send out the coin. I don't know. We might have to get an auto clicker just to send all those coins.
Get the auto clicker, yeah.
But I mean, honestly, if you had to pick between like sending, you know, 2 coins to 50 people or 1 coin to 100, I mean, which one would you pick?
50, of course.
I feel like it's got to be 50. That's what I would go for.
It's
And
good.
Ninja Mario asks, will Nintendo ever add the give all friends greeting coins option, the one that's that Godmode you just mentioned? EDietel, you're shaking your head.
Yeah, I think with both of these questions, it's a no. There's no reason to believe they would, and you know, it's been brought up before, but I think Nintendo really does want us comparing and checking in with the people on our friends list. And Godmode, that might have been something we were chatting about that you brought up, and I think I completely agree with that. So they're not going to do a send all, receive all, because then it kind of renders the friends list meaningless from their perspective. I hope that's the point you were making. I think I agree with you.
Yeah, I think that they won't do it.
Yeah, you know what? I think in this game, what a lot of people want is just to be, you know, acknowledged of a great score or a great run. And whether it's the friends list or some other way, I think that's what a lot of people are longing for. I mean, you see it all the time. People, you know, sometimes it's a spam, but sometimes it's just like that people are excited that they just want, you know, to share their amazing run. And it's one of the reasons why we did the action count combo competition, is because like it's a way to be able to celebrate somebody who, you know, most people are doing these, you know, doing ranked anyway. So like here's one that has a high action count that you can use a variety of top shelves. Let everyone go for it, and whoever walks away, they get, you know, praised. And so it's one fun way that that you know we found to do that. But if there's other ways that we can, you know, celebrate each other's awesome runs, because there's, I mean, it's kind of like what they say about if a tree falls in the forest, you know, did it make a noise? You know, it's like, well, you know, we all are in the forest sometimes where we're grinding by ourselves. We get that great run, and we're like, look around, it's just us, you know, and so we want to celebrate it with people, and that's what's great about this community, and hopefully we can continue to find ways to celebrate things. But all right, random tangent over. We have the Bowser Tour, guys. I know there's so many Bowser fans. We have Frenzy Fans, who's Frenzy Fan guy whose birthday was yesterday. 2 days from when this recording will be aired, and we have no Bowser alt. So I think that's unfortunately very, very unique that we don't have a Bowser reskin. But what are your thoughts on the Bowser Tour in general before we get to some of these very specific questions? Actually, Larry, we'll get you started because I know you have some opinions on the matter.
Can I already vent about the track?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
If the floor is yours.
Yeah. So yeah, we have in Bowser Castle 1, 2, 3, and 4 in Mario Kart Super Circuit, and they all look completely different. Like the background looks different. Like the Bowser Castle 1 has like a shield with the Bowser logo on it. The second one has a Bowser statue. The third one is outside. It has a blue background and a gray road texture. And the third one the fourth one is also kind of inside, but has like the octopus, or I don't know how I should describe that. But the 3 we already have in the game, they all use the exact same textures. And for 2, it's okay because they look very similar, but 3, like having a gray road instead of a sand road instead of a gray road, being inside instead of outside, completely different backgrounds. So yeah, it's like I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, so this next track that we're gonna get, this is gonna be Game Boy Advance, the GBA, Bowser's Castle 3. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct.
So the Seagull asks, while the layout of the track may be fun, Nintendo has reused the backgrounds of the other 3 castles, even though this track had a very distinct outdoors background in the original and the Wii remake. What are your opinions on that look of the remake? Any other opinions outside of Larry's very heated thought process there?
I personally, for me, I mean, I'm just glad we're kind of getting a new track. I'm not into the details, but I mean, Nintendo's kind of what I feel like is like what Disney is if it, you have your hardcore fans, and if you don't meet the expectations, they will not let you hear the end of it. So I feel that.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's how it should look like.
Yeah.
Gray world, blue background.
Yeah. So I mean, it is, I get the disappointment. I fully understand it. Because they are that kind of an empire where like they have the hardcore fans and the followers. So yeah, I think it's a swing and a miss for them. Unfortunately, I'm still looking forward to it. I'm still looking forward to racing a new track, and I mean, I'm kind of glad that, and part of me, I'm kind of glad we're only getting one new driver, and they're actually, we're getting new karts, some exciting karts and gliders,
And Mii Suits.
the Mii
And
Suits.
more Mii Suits.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to get a lot to the Mii Suits here in a second. But what do you think about this new driver? You just brought him up. That's part of Siegel's second part of the question about this.
I'm really
is it going to be
glad that
Coinbox?
I'm just glad that it's. Are you sure it's going to be Coinbox?
We have no idea.
No,
Now,
I don't think it's going to be Coinbox. That's just my thing. I know there's probably one around the corner. And if I'm wrong, I'll come on shirtless next time.
You already said that.
I'm wondering.
I think I'm just glad it's just one driver. I'm a little, I have no tickets left. I have nothing. I have gone all in on this tour, so I'm kind of glad it's kind of, I mean, there's some cool stuff, but the new driver, I'm definitely I'll be missing out on. That's for sure.
Godmode, were we going to say something there?
No, I personally think that, with the way they did the Gold Mii with tier 80, I mean, we still got racers at tier 50. Then they did the block, which is only a cup victory. So for some weird reason, I really think that they might throw this guy in as like a gift, and he might just be a coin box.
Oh, God.
To give the average player, you know what I mean, something to work with.
As a gold pass gift?
Like a gold pass gift. That's what I was kind of assuming. Like he'll just be like a gold pass gift. And 50-50 shot with a coin box, the guy's full of gold. It's ridiculous. But if not that, I could see like a gigabomb. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm thinking a gigabomb.
A gigabomb or like something like that. Yeah, that's the kind of theme, my first thought. But then with thinking of the block, the Gold Mii, and just the, you know what I mean? They give a big advantage to players. And then Nintendo lately has no mercy with cup comparisons. They're putting tier 70s with tier 80s. So, I mean, at the end of the day, people are going to want something to work with. It's just a thought. I have no idea, but I always assumed it would just be a gold pass gift. So we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they could show some love to the players who aren't even close to tier 80 yet.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I mean, the people who got triple cap level 8 Gold Mii already, and these guys are like a tier 50, 60. They can't compete in the game. I mean,
and they're being
King Boo came with a gold pass gift, so I think it's way overdue. So I'm not going to rule it out either. Yeah, but I don't know.
Well, if he is a coin box, I will say this: the rave form is not going to be that great because he's like this small.
What is?
Small. He's so small.
Charging Chuck?
Yeah, he's really, really
He
small.
is kind of small, I think. Yeah, I mean,
For
he's
a
not
coin
like,
box driver, yeah, I think he's pretty small.
Oh, I thought he was a heavy driver.
Well, he's no smaller than King Boo though.
no, I don't. But he's not like a Meowser or a Santa Bowser.
No, he's a medium.
Is he medium?
Or
Oh,
I don't even think it, I wouldn't even.
I thought he was heavy. I feel like he's kind of heavy, but
Chuck is large.
I guess
I just
depending on
checked
what
it.
part you put them in also too. Yeah. That could
Yeah.
But I mean, if you
Oh,
think
yeah.
about it, they did that last year. Was it last year or 2 years ago? Now they're all kind of blending together. But with King Boo Gold,
Yeah.
2
they
years
gave
ago.
him-
2 years ago, yeah.
that was
I
a gold
also
pass
checked
gift.
that.
And right off the bat, he was pretty hot. I do think that would be a nice move to help the casual player who's building up. And I know there's been talks of all these, at least in our server, these people trying out new free-to-play accounts. I know EDietel, you have a free-to-play as well. Would you get and the talk about you went to use the trial week or trial month or whatever? What are your thoughts if it was a gold pass gift? Would you get it? Would you get gold pass for your free-to-play account?
Yeah, I would. And I've held off on using the trial I've had my free-to-play account for a year now. I think I got it during the second anniversary. There has not been any meaningful gold pass gifts since then. So I still haven't used the trial, and I'm content never using it. But I would activate it if they threw them in there. I think you're right about Gold King Boo. I feel like I also remember Gold Koopa free running being a gold pass.
Koopa for New Year's, yeah.
Yeah,
They
so I
went
mean,
downhill with the New Year's gift, the gold pass gifts for sure. We've got
Right.
nothing in the past 2 years.
so I don't know. My feeling is, if what I want to say is if past is precedent, then he's not going to be a gold pass gift, but that gold bullet probably will, and it'll probably be kind of worthless. That seems to me like it would fit, but they have on occasion in the early months, the early years of this game, thrown a coin boxer in there. So I'm not willing to shut the door on it entirely. If I had to put money down, I think it's either going to be Gigabomb. They did that with Shy Guy Gold. And we've got a gold Bowser with Bomb Cannon. I could see it going either way with one of those. I think if I was a betting man, I would think it's not Coinbox. We'll see.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are expecting to be in a special pipe on Sunday, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the skill will be. I'm really hoping it's not Coinbox. I've been trying to, as you've heard me before, I've been trying to tone things down with my account. And this tour was like the perfect tour because we have, with our nitro tracks and really outside of the white Tanuki, there really hasn't been that much attract like must pull type of stuff. The special pipe was kind of lackluster, so. This was a great savings tour for a lot of people, and I feel like once we get Coinbox, man, that's gonna be so tough and tough to hold back specifically because I know right now the Miis seem to be taking over too, and that's kind of part of part of Siegel's question here is do you think that's also why they haven't given us a Bowser alt? Have the Miis taken over? So I know we talked a lot about Chuck and his special skill and when he's coming out, but why do you think that on a Bowser tour we don't get a Bowser alt? What's the spec on that?
I know a lot of people are upset over that, but I'm actually kind of happy about it, to be honest with you, because it's just like you said, it's kind of getting into a rebuild mode. So it's nice to not have to dump all these rubies in for a spotlight driver and maybe focus on the 50 pipes. I'm a little excited about it. I do wish that they would have introduced a new spotlight though. It would have made the tour a little bit better. But with the cart and glider that they're introducing, I'm okay with it. I mean, I can go into rebuild mode. I don't have to spend I spent a lot of tickets this tour. I took Tanuki to 6. I took the Tuk Tuk to 6. So I spent tickets that I'm actually
Tuk-Tuk, wow.
It's the only option I have. I mean, I had it at 3 and 1, so I thought 6 tickets isn't that bad. You know what I mean? So I was going to do the ice cream mint cart, but I was all gung ho on it. Then I realized that it's on Baby Park, and I went perfect. I have a level 3 cart on that track. So now I was going to level it up. It's a cup boost cart.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was so upset.
God.
I thought, wow, I could finally close Baby Park.
Yeah.
I mean, a level 3 cart to a level 7 or something, and then it's a cup boost cart. When did they start doing that?
Well, soon enough. It's good advertisement for Larry 98's new sheet coming out in just under a month, which will have a lot. It'll be a good sheet to check out. And I know Tabor's sheet was good for a while and accessing this information too. And Larry 98 has been able to take some of his resources and put it in the hands of people, but not quite. We're almost there. So hopefully in future situations we can look at that resource and determine that. But yeah, those cup boosts are tricky. They'll get you. I've done that. I've been there before. In fact, I think with the Tropical truck, they did that with a cup boost on Coconut Mall R, and then I realized though it does have that level 8 unlock. So double check that. Make sure it doesn't have that level 8 unlock.
That's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very helpful there too. But yeah, we already a lot of topics here. Millie brings up the fact that we got this new Offroader reskin and the new, the brand new Cact D, I think is what people are calling it, because kind of like a dark or something like that. That look phenomenal. Large hitboxes that look sick. What are your thoughts on the new karts?
I love them.
I think they're great. I just wish I had tickets now.
Well, hey, geez, why don't you tell us now why you have no tickets?
I,
Where do we begin?
I was filling out my ACR sheet and I was looking at my ceiling and I was like, wow, I could really go high on this and maybe potentially flirt with a top 10. Maybe. I want to just emphasize that. And I think just one thing led to another, and I was like, I think this is it. I think this is kind of going to be my swan song in a way. I think I'm going to stop, I might tone down the packs. I might kind of quote retire a little bit. I don't know. I mean, I'll still be active in servers, but I feel like I want to just do this and kind of ride off into the sunset a little bit here and go from there. I think Kareem was really the one that got me started on. Like I was always saying, I was never going to use spreadsheets. I just want to have some fun. And I think, I owe it to Kareem to finally get me to use a spreadsheet, because I was always afraid to use it because I was like, oh man, I could get this, I could get so much and I just suck and I'd be just beating myself up and stuff. And the honest to God truth is that it just really kind of helps me figure out where I need to focus on the most. It's really not telling me, it's not saying yes or no. Like it's not telling me that I'm a bad player or a good player. It's a tool to help, get the most out of what you have. I kind of suggested to him and Natalie and Godzi, just between those three, and then you, Studfit. So I think you're gonna go hard here and just see what happens. I don't want to say top 10, and it's not gonna happen. And so that's just kind of been my journey this tour. So that's why I have no tickets, because I kind of went all in on a bunch of stuff this tour. So.
Yeah, well, I'm right there with you, and I like the term swan song. I don't know if that's necessarily what I've been experiencing, but yeah, I think my thought process is like, hey, I've been going ham, like tour after tour for like almost 3 years. Maybe there's time for me to kind of take a slow my roll a little bit, and just like I still love the game, still want to play the game, still expect to bring out all the content that I have been, but maybe I don't have to drop, $300 or $400, a tour on all these packs. I mean, what's the use of
That's
having...
okay. And that's okay, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's hard. I mean, it's not just dropping money on the packs. It's actually, it's also about the mentality of where I am in my life. I don't want to even go into that. It's just
you're old. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. I feel like I've kind of done what I wanted to do in a way. I think I've, in terms of not just the game, but the community, I think I'll still always be a part of the community. That's just very important to me. But, I don't want to feel like I have to prove myself anymore. And I don't, I think I'm starting to get tired of thinking I need to prove something. And that's kind of it.
Yeah, well, and I did the same thing last tour, and I finished 11th, and I was really close, and there's more time I could have put into it. I only put about 40 hours into it, and it does take 50 to 60 plus, somewhere in that range to close to 100 to be able to get top 10 even with our account. But yeah, the thing was that there was something that I wanted to prove before kind of not going off into the sunset, but just just before I started calming things down. But then what I've realized since is that doing things for other people, and even whether it's a badge or whatever, won't get you very far in life or in this game. But I think it was nice to just kind of give it a shot. I learn every time I go for top 10. I always learn a lot. What's one thing that you learn?
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, I guess I shouldn't say right off to the sunset, because despite this kind of journey, I've picked up so much. I've learned a lot from Godmode and other people, because they've actually literally watched me race, in terms of when to reset, when to pop the coin box, finding those those special, the patience part of it, because it's a lot with the coin box. It's all about unloading the box at the right place, and rather, instead of just hit the button so it just goes so you can get whatever you can get, is being patient and waiting for that one that spot. So there's definitely a lot that I learned. So maybe that passion will come up again. I don't know. I mean, the door will always be open. But I'm also thinking about exactly what Frenzy Fangirl has said and has always said. They're gonna see your score, and then the next day they're gonna forget, and they're not gonna care. So,
I would take all of the expectation off and have fun. That's the problem with going with the top 10. It's a mental game.
Yeah.
You could have some great runs, and then you get into week 2, and all of a sudden you're sitting on a track for 4.5 to 5 hours and only got one coin box, a couple of singles. It's a pure mental game.
Well, I was telling you guys yesterday morning, I took the day off yesterday, and I grinded all morning. I got nothing done. Nothing. It was so frustrating. And it's just,
I think what a lot of people need to realize, especially going for a top 10, or even if somebody that's going for a top 100, is that you have to sit on these tracks. I mean, you might get into 1.5 to 2 hours, even 2.5 hours. It's just the way it goes. But eventually, if you're patient enough, you will get the run. Now, you don't always need to get 99%. I mean, 94, 93% on a track, that's even 90%, guys, is awesome. You know what I mean? It's tough to do that.
it is.
You know what I mean? So
To do that for
lower the expectations, have fun, and enjoy the tour. And
don't get me wrong, I'm having fun.
and enjoy the level ups.
It's a learning experience. I just wanted to see like how I do.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest with you. It is you nailed it. It's a mental game, and you come out like licking your wounds and barely staying alive. And the fun for the game, I think every time I'm getting out a top 10 run, I'm literally grinding just because I know like I have to. But like I don't. It's like if you had steak for dinner every night and you're just like, all right, I get it. Can I just have something else? Like this is not this isn't as fun anymore. But then like a day goes by and you're like, oh, I want to play the game again. So it does come with time. Now I know that there's some people that, in fact, I think I was observing a nice run. I think it was like 215 actions or something like that on the Rosalina Ice World RT. I think it was Big Brolo's run this morning. He's like, yeah, I was just waiting in line for breakfast at Hardee's or Starbucks or something. It's like sometimes there is like the situation where like the game knows you're grinding and grinding and grinding.
Well, you got yours. I asked you about your Donut Plains run. You had like a 50. Like that was during my my coin rush.
Coins aplenty. Yeah.
Coins aplenty.
It's like
I'm like, what?
It was like a triple coin box frenzy, like 2 singles. I was like, dude, that's just how the game works, guys. You can be trying until you're blue in the face, and then all of a sudden, there's the run. It just comes out of nowhere. But yeah, it's this game. If you're trying to get that run times 36 tracks, you just have to throw time at it. That's the only way that you can.
I did notice this morning, and I understand. Like I'm there's a certain, it takes a certain kind of person to do this or whatever. I have noticed like this morning and yesterday morning when I would get up, I'm just like, I don't want to do this. I just don't. I really don't. I didn't, and even like it was just, and I think I'm just kind of there. So like
And that's okay too. And it's
I
that's
know.
okay.
Oh, I know. I'm not ashamed of it at all. It's
Yeah,
just,
don't
this is me.
anybody out there don't feel bad
And
about it.
you know, so I'm still gonna try. I'm still gonna have fun. I look at my score now, and I'm really happy with it because like I'm already at a personal best in terms of points.
Well, James, what did I tell you this morning?
How do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
One
Yeah.
bite at a time.
Like you have to think about it that way. I sent him a video, which this guy was like, you have to celebrate every bite. You have to like literally, because if you don't celebrate that bite, it's just you're gonna you're gonna feel overwhelmed. You're not gonna be able to tackle it. So yeah, sorry guys for everyone else who's never grinded 40 hours, 50 hours on a tour. But going back to the Bowser Tour, we have I think it's just one last question from Crazy. He says, you know, we're seeing plenty of new karts and gliders next tour, but only one new driver, being Gold Charging Chuck, doesn't seem to even be in any of the spotlight pipes. There's also a similar situation in this tour, in the Sundae Tour, where there's only one driver, but several karts, several gliders. Is there anything to this trend? Is this something that we're going to see the rest of the year, where we just see, you know, one driver, but like plenty of karts and gliders? Or is there any correlation between this and what's happening with the Miis, where we're getting these other types of drivers, right? So like, you know, we're getting this Bowser suit, this dry Bowser suit, getting this ice cream suit. Like we're getting all these drivers, but a different form that is, you know, not in pipes. What are your thoughts on how have kind of changed how we get access to drivers?
I think Nintendo's definitely focusing on the Miis really heavy. I think they're really revving it up, because you remember we used to get one suit per tour. Now we're getting two for the past couple. So I think they're really going Mii heavy right now. And
Well, we only had one. I mean, technically we had one. We had the box and the ice cream one, but the box was there before. I mean, next tour we're getting two new ones though, right? So that's
I mean, we expected this to get cut off at 1,600, and we're 1,630 now. We got two more next tour. We got two more advertised for the previous tour, next tour. I mean, when is it going to stop? I don't think it's going to.
Well, I think it was.
Hopefully soon.
I don't. So, like Nintendo asked, is like, hey, is this an accident, or is this like I think it was Nintendo, it might have been somebody else, but is this like intern 4 just like goofing around and like they, you know, like when you make a mistake and you're like, how do I fix this mistake? I could just apologize. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna double down. I'm gonna just like, I'm gonna be right. Gosh darn it, you know what I mean? Like that's what they're doing right now. They're like doubling down. They're like, no, we're not sorry about this. We are shoving this down your throat, and you have to accept it. You can't neglect the Miis. And, you know, Frenzy Grind, I've been so respectful. I have so much respect for what you've done with your account here recently, just, you know, buying in and going full in. But, yeah, guys, I mean, this is intense, and almost like, I mean, it almost makes sense to not, you know, pull for, you know, I mean, this Charging Chuck, if he's Coinbox, like, we're screwed. I mean, we're now having to like make really life decisions between like our rubies, and do we pull for a Coinbox driver, you know, really any other, even other drivers, like, you know, Lucky 7 that's not a Mii now, like is no longer a must pull, because the Miis are just overpowering them all. So it's thrown everything into shift. But, you know, going full circle into this question, you know, do you think this trend of only one driver as a spotlight in 100 pipe, like, do you think that's going to go through? Or, you know, if you look at, you know, maybe this I think it was a Daisy Cruiser, the Daisy Tour, where, you know, we did have two drivers, but useless skills, and we just basically skipped over both of them. I mean, so that kind of defeats, you know, this theory. What do you think, guys? What trend will go forward?
I think the trending towards the Miis. Was that?
Yeah, I think they are. I mean, you got to think about it. 70 rubies just to get the Mii. So you tack on, that's 140 rubies just for two suits. So at the long run, I think Nintendo knows what they're doing. I think at the end of it, I think it's just has to do with the revenue. I think that they know that racers that especially do ACR are not going to pass up on that Mii suit. The value, the base point adding is just too high. So.
And take it from me, if you fall behind, you're screwed. So if you're really going in on the Miis, you got to get it. You can't fall behind. You can't fall behind.
with the way they're doing the Miis now, I really have been thinking about it. And, they got Lucky 7 Miis, and they got some the silver Mii suits really
Dude,
nice.
even
They
this
got
Bowser, can you imagine a Bowser shell Mii suit? Like now, I would actually use a Bowser shell Mii suit over a Coinbox driver in some situations.
it'd be fun. And what? I've been thinking about this, and the way that they're doing every tour, every shop has different, the Miis in it. I figure if I could just pull them once a tour, it might take a little bit, but you can eventually get your Miis up. You know what I mean? Without even having to invest tons. I mean, it just have to be a patient game, but you can eventually just get all your Miis kind of going. You just have to go through the shops. That's how it would be. It's a good strategy. Anybody out there that is starting this game right now, if you do not have inventory, look into those Miis. Mm-hmm. Because every single tour the shop resets, and you could buy that same Mii suit if you choose. The most, some of them are still there every tour. You could have that thing up to 5, 6 in a matter of no time. And give you great coverage for ACR. So.
I want to hear from Larry 98. He's our collector. What are your thoughts on the Miis?
I mean, yeah, as a collector, I have to get them, but besides the Gold Mii, I not really use them. So yeah, and maybe at one point I take blockheads higher, but not yet. Yeah, but I don't really know. I buy, but I mean, even if I would not be a collector, I would still buy them to get the higher base points and to get all the other advantages each tour, like the cup boost, the Mii cup boost, the first track of each cup boost, then the double boost. Like if it's the Mii cup, the first track, then it's always, they're all Miis. Yeah, and the higher base points. Yeah. So.
Yeah, Snuffles
I would buy
asks.
them, yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm done now.
Okay, sorry about that. I didn't mean to cut you off. Snuffles asks, how do you see the Mii drivers progressing? They don't have the raw coverage, but have the unpredictability of cup boosts and the built-in base points advantage. While traditional plus skill drivers tend to have more coverage and an occasional cup boost, should we only be investing in Mii drivers, or will there come a day and go, are they some kind of fad?
I think it depends on when you started playing the game. I think is what Godmode said. If you're kind of a newer player, I think you're obviously going to be focused more on the Miis. But for a player like me, Frenzy Grind, and us day one players, I still don't see any value of them besides the gold one and Blockhead.
Yeah, that's it.
I think the other thing is, for me especially, and I know for others, someone made, it might have been you, Godmode, this, a lot of people ask, why are, 100 rubies for a suit or 70, that's a lot. But like when you go deep into a pipe just for a high driver, it's even more than that. So you might as well do it. But my counter to that is you're not getting any other stuff besides just that Mii suit. Yeah. I'm pulling pipes. I'm more pulling pipes just to get coins now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another, I could be like, oh, okay, I'll just get rubies and I'll buy Mii suits and stuff like that. But how am I gonna, my shops, I'm not gonna be able to go into them because I won't have coins. So
yeah, what about you, EDietel? You have a regular account that's pretty well established, has been playing for a long time, but not necessarily a whale. And then you have this brand new free to play. Are both of them looking at Miis or going half in on them or all in them, or which? And if so, which account is going which way?
I mean, I have the same approach to both accounts, which is it sounds like I'm the only one here that's like this, but I'm not going after the Miis. And I'm at the point now where the more, I have a handful of Mii suits on each account, but it's just the ones that were ranked rewards or something along the way. I haven't spent a ruby. I haven't invested a ticket. They're just sitting there at the bottom of my inventory. And I feel like it's the more this goes on, it's a much lonelier position to hold than it was at the beginning. And I am now beginning, I was a little stubborn for a while. I'm now beginning to see the value of the Miis for raw scoring potential. And I'm going up against opponents that have heavily invested in them, and I'm getting used to finishing second and third, in my ranked cups, especially because of it. It's sort of a hard spot to be in, because I kind of feel like if I want to continue to be a stronger player relative to the competition, I have to go in on these Miis, but I still feel the same way I did when they debuted them, which is I don't like that they introduced them to this game. I don't want to use them, and I don't like the idea of feeling like I have to, like giving Nintendo kind of that sort of influence over me. I don't want to use them. I like the actual original characters, and I even like a lot of the variants that they put into this game. So I made a decision a while ago to really invest my resources in a different category, and it brings me a lot more happiness, and I enjoy playing the game more than if I had put those things into the Miis. But if this continues, if it's not a fad, if this continues with no end in sight, I got to be honest, I don't see myself buying into the Miis all of a sudden. It's kind of a deflating thing to think about. If this becomes, Mii Kart Tour or whatever you want to call it, I don't know if my heart is still going to be in it at that point. So I'm finding the fun where it makes sense for me. I don't like the Miis. I don't know if that makes sense to everybody, but I'm just not there with the rest of you. But like, I get it. It makes a lot of sense. So,
well, and Frenzy Grind, why don't you? I guess I'd love to hear your feedback, because you were on that boat. You were riding that. You were driving that train, probably, to be honest with you, about not liking Miis. And at some point in time, you mentally made a shift. And EDietel, you actually asked a good question here. Is like, can an account be competitive? And I know your response is more around like fun. This is more fun, But like in a competitive situation where you're in ranked and you're just getting kind of frustrated because you're not winning ranked, or in top 100, you're not able to get there, and you kind of reach a deflatedness because of the decisions you made with your account. I mean, how does that come into play? I mean, does the fun of using, a non-Mii driver, does it get overshadowed by the fun that you're losing out on by not winning ranked, or not, accomplishing what you could from a points perspective? And I'm sure this was all kind of going through your brain, Frenzy fans, over the last month. What are your thoughts?
Me or
Frenzy, yeah, Frenzy Grind.
Okay.
Sorry if I said something different. There's a lot
That's
of
all right.
Frenzy fans and Frenzy stuff going on.
Too
So
many frenzies. I wish I had that problem.
I still call like Kart Life, Kart Talk, and Kart Talk, Kart Life. And there's a lot of carts and frenzies. So sorry about that.
Yeah. So listen, I've had conversations with you. We've actually debated last Kart Talk I was on about the Miis. I was very anti-Mii. Like I'm exactly in EDietel's boat. I didn't want to invest. I had no interest in investing. I was more of an original character person, and I wanted to go all out. I went all out on my coin box drivers. I just wasn't a Mii guy. I just didn't want to do it. So I have conversations with a lot of different people in the community. You're one of them. You really smacked some sense into me. I'm not gonna lie, but playfully. I've had some conversations with some really good friends, Godmode, Jeeves, a few others, Jedi. We've really had some conversations about the Miis. And I said, listen, I'm a competitive ACR player. So for me, if I can't keep up with these guys, if I don't invest in the Miis, I'm just going to be a simple top 100 guy who's just going to go through the motions. And I'm looking myself in the mirror and I'm looking, this game is going in a different direction now. It's going Mii. It's Miis all the way. This game, Nintendo's really pushing the Miis. And I had to understand that. And I didn't really do that before. So I invested and it was rough. I had to save a lot for like 3 tours to catch the Gold Mii up. Ask a lot of my good friends, Jeeves, Godmode, how badly I wanted to block. I didn't get them the last time. I had 2 top 10 players last time. The first time
that night.
It was, I didn't get them. I was so disappointed. This time around, these guys, Godmode and Jeeves were there the whole time. Wednesday night, Tuesday night, it got very silly. It got close. I had to make investments, but
I was like, I don't know what I gotta say because I don't want to piss him off. He was so on the fence, and I'm like, I don't know, dude. Just do whatever.
I was so glad when you invested in
Yeah.
The next when I woke up, it was probably the most nervous DM I sent in a while.
Yeah, but you know what it was? Is for somebody who was anti-me, I never found myself wanting a driver so badly. Maybe it was just that I lost first place the first time around twice to two top 10 players and not getting it. But once I started investing, and I just needed the driver. So I made some last minute moves, and I got it. And just everything landed where it was, and I just had to move forward with it.
I think with the Miis in general, I think it's basically who you surround yourself by. You know what I mean? If you're in a group of people that are all heavily invested in Miis, you're going to see these crazy scores. I just saw your score on Baby Park today. Well, I think it was Baby Park. It's, you know what I mean? You see these scores, and you want to accomplish the same thing. So I think a lot of it has to do with who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're surrounded by like racers that don't really care too much about Miis and love the Sunshine Marios and all these different characters, then that's, you know what I mean? The expectation's a little bit lower. So I think it's just a lot of it has to do with who you surround yourself with.
It is cool to see like people. It is pretty cool to see people, you know, again, going through the friends list and seeing like some killer scores on there.
Dude, I think I saw Chronos getting 66,000 on Baby Park Tour or something like that. I was like
but like
what? Baby Park Tour? Like that's a terrible track.
I can't remember who on my friends list. Like they took like the PD Mii to like 7 double or something, and all these other ones like a high level silver suit, and just all these things. It's just like, that was smart, you know. But like, I don't know. I don't. Pardon my French. I don't have the balls to do that. You know,
well, like it's you can't. It's really hard to pick like a PD Mii suit, or even like these Bowser Mii suits with this Bowser shell, or you know, some of these King Boo Mii suits. Like there's so many plus skilled Mii suits. You can't go into all of them. You have to just kind of select some.
It's like sometimes, like, you know, when you go into a 50 pipe, or even sometimes when you go into just a 100 pipe, you know, sometimes you go into them to get them multiple times. With the Mii suits, you only get them once basically, and to take it from 1 to 7 rather than like from 4 to 7, that's a huge difference and a much bigger sacrifice. I mean, and I can't think of any other suit that's worthwhile doing it other than the Gold Mii or Blockhead, because it's Coinbox.
I leveled up the Gold Mii this tour. Is the first time I triple capped it. I took it to 8, and it's unbelievable. I just cannot believe it. This is the first tour where I've actually started a race, and I see starting out 3,000 basically. Are you kidding? That's ridiculous.
So huge.
I mean, wow.
That'd be nasty to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, StudFAM, you made this point 2 Kart Talks ago about the difference in base points for the Gold Mii if you have him leveled up. I mean, I took that into consideration. I mean, the runs I'm getting with this guy, fully maxed, 1 suit off, level 8, and then now having the block at double cap level 6, just the runs I'm getting with very minimal frenzy runs is just insane. Like I'm getting almost 60K runs with like
the Remix Rainbow
single.
horrible Coinbox track, and you're getting 50K out of it easily.
So that's an interesting question. So, you know, I know like for you, EDietel, one of the reasons you love Giant Banana, you've been leader of the Banana Republic for now 2 tours. Oh no, there he is.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
You got to get this guy a job at the mall.
Yeah, he's got his membership. Yeah. So like one of the things that you're so attracted to with Giant Banana is like the ease, right? So you jump on a track, you get a quick, you know, 150, 200 action count, and like you're like the quality of life is there. In addition to being so much fun with Giant Banana, you know, in some ways, is the ease and fun of having like a monster Mii suit, like is the fun parallel, or is it completely different if you have like these base points that'll kind of cover, you know, a poorly run track, or make up for some of those mistakes? What are your thoughts as leader of the Banana Republic?
Yeah, I mean, it's the investing in the giant banana drivers has been a fun little experiment, and I just decided to throw everything I had into. I'd saved up for a few months and not spent any tickets, and had quite a pile of driver and glider tickets, and just decided, I don't know, a month ago or whatever it was, to pull the trigger and invest in these things, because I just found I was feeling sort of bummed out when I'd have an opportunity to race a track and there was this giant banana option, but I was always going with the Lucky 7, or I was always going with the coin boxer, and I get the higher scores, but it's something about that giant banana. I love that it's just like, it's absolute chaos. And there is, it was mentioned earlier in this episode that there's an art to using coin boxes, but where you deploy them and kind of how you navigate. There's a very similar art to the giant banana, and it's different from the coin box. And I've really enjoyed learning to play these tracks differently from how I was accustomed. So, and there's just something about when you get, 2 giant banana frenzies in your first lap, and then you kind of have to navigate the chaos yourself that second lap. Sometimes it's self-sabotage, and sometimes it is just, it's kind of it's like a high when you get through it. Similar to how I felt when I dabbled in boomboxing once upon a time, which I will never go back to. So it is an ease of time and getting respectable scores and being able to move on, but I just enjoy grinding more. And I think when grinding is not actually grinding yourself down emotionally and physically, there's a lot to be said for that. So I have I've gone in on these giant banana drivers, and I'm not going to old gliders, but these new banana gliders that come out, I've been going all in on those too, to try to maximize banana scores. So the piranha balloons are fully maxed, and I did the same with the whichever ice cream one it was from this current tour.
Oh, nice.
And I'm finding that each one of those overlaps with several banana driver tracks, and then my scores are increasing that way too. So it's not a strategy for everybody. I don't really know anyone else who's done it, and there might be others, but nobody that I've spoken with. And it's been fun to try something new. And I'm a day one player, I think, like a lot of us, and
looking to spice things up.
Well, it's getting a little long-winded, but I'll end with that. I think all of us, all 6 of us here, have had friends in this game that are not in this game anymore. And there are still people that I miss who've been out of this game for a long time. And I think part of what gets people to the point where they have to quit, and it's a good decision for them to do so, is when it's taking a toll on their mental health and their availability to their loved ones, right?
Absolutely.
So the giant banana strategy, I'm probably sacrificing some high scores by doing it, but I'm really enjoying it, and I feel like I'm further away from burning out.
Well, so you've probably done more, and I know we'll probably get some other questions around the giant banana, but just real quickly, you've probably done more giant banana runs with drivers that have giant bananas as their top skill, more than anyone else on this call here in the last month. What would be one strategy or one of those nuances that you're referring to that you want to pass forward that it's like super advanced, that like, hey, yeah, you think you know giant banana? Well, here's one little thing I picked up in the last couple weeks.
I got a question that he could chime in with that too. Okay, don't planes 2T. What is the strategy? Because I use Sunshine over a Lucky 7.
Which track?
Oh, I got white Snoop triple cap now. Yeah.
I love the giant.
That's a ninja track, right?
That's a ninja track.
Well, I'm not a boombox. You know what I mean? So
I get it. That's who I use.
Both a Lucky 7 too.
Yeah. So go ahead, EDietel.
I don't know. I mean, maybe when we have this conversation, other things will come up. In this moment, I'm not having any sort of super secret strategies that are coming to mind. I just think like this tour right now, I've been sort of refining, when to drop those bananas behind you and when to throw them ahead of you. And I've been playing around with some of those strategies. Obviously, during glider sections, you want to be throwing them ahead. But it's been kind of fun to figure out if there's any way to maximize banana hits. Otherwise, StudFit, you've talked in the past about how if you build up a big enough lead, sometimes it can be advantageous to kind of run into your own bananas and slow yourself down and
Yeah.
get more hits. I've actually had a lot of fun trying to navigate that and kind of figure that out. So the strategies that I use are things that people are talking about in the community. I just think I have more opportunities to use them because on tracks where people are going with coin box drivers, I'm not always doing that. I have these level 8 1400 giant bananas and I'm going in with those and I'm just having a different experience, and it's been fun.
I had that with the pink ninja, the pink Shy Guy ninja, because like especially with Ty Daisy. Ty Daisy got a lot of pink ninja tracks, but like I would have had to really go all in on her right away to even match what my pink ninja was. So I
think your concept of it is spot on, because what you're doing is you're playing your game. You know what I mean? You're not worried about the next person or what anybody else thinks or what anybody else is doing. You're strictly playing your game, what makes you happy. And at the end of the day, guys, that's all that matters. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that matters.
But I also think with Giant Banana, you know, I don't know if, you know, Deal really has talked about Giant Banana is, I'm going to use my math experience on this because I wrote some game theory, but it's, you want to maximize your minimum guaranteed payoff. And it's, and
What'd you call me?
What?
What'd you call me? I'm sorry, go ahead.
So you might not be able to have that ceiling of a boombox or a coin box or a lucky 7, but the overall strength of the Giant Banana and reaching that ceiling is a lot, quote, simpler, I think, than the other top skills. So there is, you know, point strategy in going. I don't want to say it's like sacrificing like a whole lot of points, but like I would rather get a decent score with a Giant Banana and walk away and work on other things, because I don't have time to get the best coin box run, the best lucky 7 run, or boombox run.
Yeah, I think for me, and again, I've seen players that have been really good at a very specific skill and they really enjoy it,
right?
And then like that's how they invest. So like I know Raker and Borja, they invest in boomerang drivers, and they really enjoy it. And that's every one of their boomerang drivers are like level 8, 1400, and like that's how they built their strategy around that. And I think that's, if they enjoy it, like that's the smartest way to go. And it's the same way as you're talking about, EDietel. I know a lot of people were really into Lucky 7. I know Octavia, Anke, like there are different players that like that's how they invested because they were really good at it. And they became so tuned into that finesse that you're referring to. So I think like whatever you enjoy, 100% go for it. And like if you feel like you're getting higher scores than the people around you using those skills, then you're playing to best suit your own personal skill.
Like the amount of like respect that I have for those players like Borja and Racker and, you know, and Anke when she's playing and Octavia. And if there's a question of who I miss the most that don't play more, it's Octavia. If you're watching this, Octavia, I miss you.
We love you, Octavia. I talked to her last week. She's doing really well.
Awesome.
She does have a free to play account, or maybe Gold Pass only account.
Oh, okay.
Because you can't get away. Like the game is still.
I will boot Octavia. If you're watching this, I will boot someone off my friends list for you. I'll boot Godmode off. So.
But
yeah, you just added your daughter.
It's really cool to see like those, those like specific players have that, and that then maybe, and then I'll even go across to the multiplayer world with who's the new guy? I think it's his name.
Oh, Draco.
Draco, yeah, and just, you know, I don't pay attention to that, but like, you know,
Western Legacy.
You know, yeah, it's just really cool to see, you know. To see like specific the you know, see specific players with just more like with a skill in like Lucky 7. I was always jealous of Octavia and her Lucky 7 skill. It was incredible.
but she nailed it. Like she
I was
she
scoring
in-
higher than I could with a coin box. That's how
Yeah.
crazy.
I couldn't believe.
and so for her, like that's a personal skill.
Right.
And again, you know,
But she also had fun with it. That was the thing. I mean, that was why. But I like Borja and Racker with the boomerang thing. It's I have a lot of respect for those things. So kudos to you, EDietel.
But yeah, in the same vein though, find what you enjoy, find what you're good at, and you know whatever that mix is. I still love Coinbox, to be honest with you. I still love just getting a double Coinbox frenzy and 2 singles and just calling it a day and just I don't know. I'm not just, you know, going in line with the meta. I actually really enjoy Coinbox and looking for those red coins and doing a little shimmy here on a turn. I don't know. There's something about it, like, because I know that like that's also going to most likely get me really high points. So there is something, but I will say, doing my top 10 grind myself, I really fell in love with Lucky 7 again. I can't say that enough. You know, even those Wario Shipyard tracks are not fun tracks, but there's a lot of Lucky 7 potential there where you can kind of fall back. You can even, you know, like I really like the wider tracks where you can kind of manipulate where you are. The really short. I really did not like Sunday, the Sunday one last week with Volendam, like Sky High Sunday with I think it was the RT with Volendam, because the coins don't actually land on the track. They just kind of land and they just fall off of the track. And then you don't really have time to like maneuver because you just have like, you know, barely enough room to fit like 3 drivers across. So that's the kind of stuff where it's like, you know, you really also have to pick it based on track, right? So I asked, Robert just joined ER and happy to have him there. We asked him, was like, hey, how do you feel about Boombox? He's like, depends on the track. Like, this is a perfect answer. We love you, Robert, like already, because that you're right. Like Boombox, Giant Banana, Coinbox, like it's what I've really loved about what Nintendo's done this year is they've made it very focused on the track, right? So not every skill. Sammy brought this up, is like, hey, it's okay to have overlap. It's okay to have like a Coinbox driver and a Lucky 7 driver and a Boomerang driver on the same track, level 8, because now you have your pick. You can say, is this track better for Boomerang? Is this track better for Giant Banana? Is it better for Coinbox? And again, I know that's level 8. That's a different problem. But like level 6 or level 5, you know, you get the thing. Having overlap is okay because you get your choice.
Yeah, I mean, they have these tracks with multiple pathways. So like, you know, yeah, Giant Banana is nice, but like Giant Banana on Yoshi Valley sucks. Because you can go all these routes and no one's going to hit. I mean, only
that's a good point.
Fraction of people are going to run into your bananas.
First of all,
well, you brought it up. Donut Plains
too.
2T. I'm sorry, Francie Grant, go ahead.
Every skill on Yoshi Valley sucks. Those bots are brutal.
They are pretty tough.
Everybody here knows it.
Yeah.
But Donut Plains 2T, I'm using Ninja, and there's only one Coinbox. Actually, I think there's only one Coinbox driver on the second shelf. And it's like, man, like I would rather be using some other skill, but like he happens to be like the level 8 there. So yeah, like every track is a little different. And I think that is what the concept that if Nintendo takes going forward will keep us really enjoying this game, is like such more dynamic tracks. I'm interested to see Bowser Castle. We haven't seen a lot of Bowser's Castles in quite some time. To think about a boombox, a Bowser's Castle, I can't even think of the last time I boomboxed any of the Bowser's. We haven't seen Bowser's Castles, which brings me to another question we've had is, you know, what is the thought process on the recent track selection that we've had, where we've kind of been shoved down our throat between Coconut Mall, which I love still, and Wario Shipyard and Vanilla Lake, which I don't like, and Bowser's Castle, which is fine. But like we've seen these 4 tracks for like 4 tours in a row. And it does look like next tour we'll get some variety. What's your thoughts on this trend? Is this something that's happening where like they keep giving us these same tracks over and over again? Are you getting burnt out because they're doing it to us, or do you think that that's just something they did over the summer?
I think they're forcing you to learn the tracks. I really think they do. I used to complain about all these Wario Shipyards. It's not like I've you know, dogged it for so many times, but it's to the point where I kind of like it now, because I've learned the track so much by playing it so much. So I think that's maybe what they're trying to do. They're really force feeding it to you to learn it and accept it and adjust to it. So
Do you like being force fed?
I have to disagree. I disagree. They're forcing you to understand that they're lazy.
Wow.
I actually like it, and I'll tell you why. Because all the investment that I've done over the 3 years, I could start using maybe I'll use my tropical glider again this tour.
Yeah.
Different items. I mean, I got a lot of things at high levels that have literally collected dust. I mean, I've never used them. You know what I mean? So it's nice to see some of the retro tracks come back from the old school days, because to the players that are day one players, we should have gear for it. I mean, I'm assuming. You know what I mean?
I have to disagree. I don't think it's lazy. I don't think it's lazy. I really don't.
Well, maybe you're misunderstanding my point. When I say it's lazy, it's that we've had the same tracks for 4 tours in a row. That's what I mean by lazy.
That has to be on purpose, though. Like, why
I
are they
think there's
doing that?
But what's the reasoning that you would have?
It
these
could
tracks
be
4
making
tours in a
us
row?
use tickets. Like I finally, because the shipyard kept coming back, I finally took a lucky 7 driver to level 8.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Do you think they care if you learn the lines? Is that Nintendo's thing? They want to make sure every player knows how to run that track. I don't think that's what they care about.
We'll talk.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. All right.
We'll discuss this off the record.
No, I honestly think that this is probably honestly one of the biggest debates we've had even on this episode is like, do you like it or do you not? And I think, oh man,
Yeah, but it's not about liking it or not liking it. It's 3 or 4 tours in a row is a lot. There's so many old tracks that we could have had. Next tour is great.
Yeah, that's what I like.
So I think like the real root of the question, which I don't even know if we have written down here. I think we have some variety of it. Ricker asked a good one similar, but like this is not intern for just being lazy, in my opinion. But it's also not like they want us to refine our lines. I don't think that either. Like there is a reason it's happening, but I don't think anyone's nailed it yet. Like why are they giving us 4 tracks for 4 tours in a row, and like just these 4, like, and before we saw, but they're not giving us Mushroom Gorge, they're not bringing us Sky Garden. Like there are other new tracks that came out this year that they've held away from us. Like why?
Yeah,
they can record all these bots, all of our runs, and put them into their bot.
Ooh, you know what? I haven't heard that one yet.
good one.
It's a good one. It's cute.
No,
I'm with you.
I
It
remember.
seems like on like Mushroom George and all the tracks that you're talking about, it kind of seems like it's kind of ironic because all the tours that they're introducing these new tracks on, mostly everybody I know does not have drivers for it, does not have carts for it, does not have gliders for it. So it forces us to pull. It forces us to use tickets.
That too.
You know what I mean? So I think that's like a big part of it. You know what I mean? I cannot remember me going into like consecutive tours where this tour I had a level 3 glider on tracks, a level 2. I have a level 3 cart. So
No problem.
Baby Park, you know what I mean? So I mean,
Baby Park's been tough. Yeah.
it's brutal for me. I've had a level 3 cart on Baby Park ever since they introduced it, and I'm waiting on the right cart to combine because it's tough to spend that many tickets.
Godmode, in fairness, I told you the cart to level up for that track.
I know. I'm ready to. I have the tickets to level something up. I could take something straight to 8, 7, but I like having tickets. You know what I mean? So it's like, say for instance, next tour that track gets Baby Park, done deal. It's going right up.
And I think EDietel might agree with me on the cart for Baby Park.
What's the talking about the armored rider?
No,
I'm just drawing a blank right now. What's the cart?
Coral Jet Cruiser.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
Coral.
Jet Cruiser.
That one's been spicy here lately.
Yep.
Seven
So I
tracks
did the
right
top
off the
10
bat.
run. I hated this move. I'm so upset right now. I did it, but orange streamline.
Oh God.
I would
95.95 right now. Can't get those tickets back. But
No, we all just have a moment of silence
Yeah.
for those
All right.
all right, yeah, yeah. Tell me about it. That's one. It was the only track he gave me. Like I was going for top 10, and I was 9,000 short. 9,000. Anyway, so Raker asked an interesting question, kind of similar to this. One consequence with getting a lot of tracks over and over again, like the ones we just mentioned, is that items receive a lot of less buffs, and it takes longer before you can tell whether a new item is going to be good for your account or not. Some of these examples would be like Lightning Streamliner, the Lightning McQueen, which was introduced 2 tours ago. Not a single non-city buff. And some items from last tour only getting 1 non-city buff. And in most cases, an older track, such as Donut Plains or Vanilla Lake. How do you react to this? How do you value the potential tracks something hasn't seen yet versus the established value? So again, they're kind of prolonging when we'll actually see these tracks come back. Now again, next tour we know that we're going to see a bunch of old tracks. It's very apparent. So maybe this isn't a conversation we're debating next week. So let's debate it now. But are they trying to prolong this, or is next tour going to be like a super buff episode? I know Larry, you might want to jump in here now because you're the one actually taking into consideration all these buffs. What's your thoughts on the buffs that are coming next tour and these, what we've seen so far versus what's about to come?
Yeah, I would say the next tour there will be a lot of buffs because tracks have been there for, I don't know, like not for 30 weeks or something like that. So there will be a lot of like, I don't know, 20, 30 drivers who would be able to get the tracks. So yeah, but they probably only pick a few. So yeah, let's hope we all invested into the correct stuff. Yeah. And I am based on the changes, I'm always waiting until the kart glider will really give me like a few tracks. Like I wanted to invest into the green cat parafoil, how it's called, but I waited then 2 tours and the buffs went good, so I still not maybe. Now my next I'm looking at is the tropical balloons, so let's see how that's turning out. But
Yeah.
otherwise, I think the last glider, the most recent glider I took higher than 6 or 7 is the Aurora balloons, and that was last year. So
It's the frenzy grind.
there hasn't been like a glider where I really invest yet.
Very nice. I'm so mad I didn't get those tropical balloons. I know that so many people love them. I saw so many people even here. Godmode, Frenzy Grind. You guys were air pumping there.
I took it to 7, doubled it. I think it's awesome. It gives me 3 tracks. I mean, that's rare these days. I mean, to get an item brand new to get 3 tracks, that's awesome. So there was no hesitation. And plus, it's awesome, guys. I love
Awesome.
it.
It's the only item I was smiling, clicking the button as I was going boom, boom, boom.
No, it looks super cool. Now, the second part to Raker's question is, do you gamble more investing without knowing much about its future value? Or do you keep most items at level 1 longer, maybe like 5 to 6 tours instead of 2 to 3? So I know like a good example would be for Antilev and I. I'm very, very aggressive with wanting to invest in something, take it up to level 6, 7, sometimes 8 really early, and just like catching it and riding that wave very early, catching before the peak, like, literally getting up on your surfboard before the wave even starts to pick up. And I really, really enjoy that. But I also know that's a whale problem. Like that's something most people can't necessarily do. Now I do know that some people they love like the tropical balloons. Like I'm all in, I'm free to play, but it doesn't matter. I'm all in. Or sometimes maybe a Kong item gets their fan base revved up and they go all in on that item. So I know like Antilev's and Raker is a good example of this too, where they're like, I need to see its value. I need to see 5 tours in, 6 tours in, 7 tours in, see what the actual value is baked in, and then make my decision. So, these are 2 different strategies. Kind of where do you guys fit into that, and how do you decide when to invest in something. Is it before it peaks or as it's peaking, or like I already know which tracks it has and I'm just going to bank on it coming back?
And even as a whale, I don't do that. And I think it's because when I did that, it was the origami glider, and it just totally backfired on me.
Me too.
Oh, the origami.
Uh,
Can we take a moment of silence for the origami glider?
I took that right to 7 double cap during that samurai tour, and anyway, so like it's just I've just been scared to do that, and I think the first I finally went all in. I finally went all in on a new glider this tour, which was that mint and berry ones, and I don't even know what that's gonna do, but I don't like being scared like that. I'd rather just kind of see how. I would rather keep it up at, if I have it level 2, 3, and then see how it does, and then I would boost it up when I would need to. I don't like taking a glider or kart straight to 6 or 7 right off the bat.
The way I do that's very simple. Is once that glider drops, I look at the tracks. If it gives me 1, 2 tracks, I might possibly level it up, but I won't go all in until I wait at least 2 to 3 tours.
Well, I think even if it gives you 1, 2 tracks, you don't know what it's going to do for the future yet, and so that's kind of what
It's always a hit or miss.
That uncertainty.
You did the origami. I did the origami glider. Big regrets. But then again, you did Pink Shy Guy. I mean, who would have ever knew that the guy was going to every cut with 10 tours? It's
a little bit of a safer move with the driver, because even if it's got a plus skill like a coin box, giant banana, lucky 7, you could take whatever of those to 6 or 7. You'll be happy about it no matter what. So it's just really different with the gliders and karts, I think.
I feel like there's another side to this, and it's something that I've heard Sammy D talk about before, and I think he's right that our feelings of regret when we kind of gamble on an investment can sometimes be premature. I think StudFit, maybe you're starting to experience this lately with the
Wicked Wings.
But I've heard Sammy talk about this before, and you make these heavy investments and they help you immediately. They help you in that tour where they come out. And then there might be there most likely will be some point down the line when you're kind of surprised that you have this weapon. Like, I'm dealing with this right now. So it is obviously smart to wait and make your investments, but like that excitement of putting a lot down on the table and gambling it's why people get addicted to gambling, right? I guess I'm a little bit of a gambler at heart here. But like I'm dealing with that right now I've had all these feelings of regret about how heavy I went into the Frostwing when it came out.
Oh man.
I maxed the tour that it came out. I had a blast with it on those Vancouver tracks and those ice tracks. And then it's like it did nothing for me. But then all of a sudden I'm using it twice in my ranked cups, and it has had no value for me for a long time. And then all of a sudden, like, wow, look what it's doing for me right now. And I just don't have as much regret as I did 3 weeks ago. And I think, again, I don't know. I think that origami glider at some point it's going to surprise you. It's going to pay off. And
I think if it came back,
it's going to help.
We tried that.
I think if it gets one of the new tracks, I'd still be pissed off. So,
well, I can tell you what though. Honestly, this is yeah. Again, I feel bad, pointing this out, but like, I like investing in new items that were released during a special pipe, and almost all the ones that were released in a special pipe this year have been absolutely amazing. Like the White Bruiser I'm using on this Vanilla Lake that we can't get rid of. Well, I'm using on Coconut Mall, which you can't get rid of. Like I'm using these tracks that they keep giving us. These special track items, the Sakura Hot Rod, I've been probably using more than any other cart in my entire inventory. And you think about the tropical truck, same, Coconut Malls, like all three of them. Tropical truck is all over the place. Like what's been interesting is that because they keep giving these tracks and recycling them, like the coverage that I have invested in have been extra useful. And so like the thing I've planted my flag in more than anything else is like the value of a new item in a special pipe. Like it is just so powerful. This year is more than any other year. Now I know the Frostwing came out in a special pipe, so I like there are going to be some odd situations, but this year for whatever reason, like because they've recycled these tracks over and over again, even this Cape, Koopa Cape, like man, my loadout's been bonkers there with White Bruiser and other drivers. Like it's been phenomenal. I don't know what to tell you, man, but special pipes, like that is where I think there's the best bang for your buck. If you can get the special item and just take that one, I don't think there's a safer bet in this game right now.
I mean, most like the gliders, the mint glider that you leveled up, Jeeves, I think it has 7 tracks now. These gliders are going to get 30 to 33 tracks.
Yeah, I think that's another reason why it had a lot of tracks to begin with. So
yeah. Well, I mean, the value is going to go high. I mean, if they're going to introduce new tours like the Desert Hills is coming and stuff like that,
yeah,
you know what I mean. You will be prepared.
Yeah.
So you're just like what do you like? Dido said, you're just setting yourself up. You know what I mean, for a future. Yeah. I mean, it's this thing. I have a loader housing at 6. And I did it for a top 10 run. I have Penguin Toadette at level 7 for a top 10 run. The minute those two, and I got the top 10 badges, but
That's
the
awesome.
All that matters.
You can't regret that.
the minute that the tour ended, extinct.
yeah.
I didn't see them for light and day.
You got your value out of it, though.
Yoshi Valley T comes, I'm using Penguin Toadette. I know everybody. I wish I had the boomerang. Oh my God, I wish I had the boomerang. But I'm using Penguin Toadette 7. So she saved me their loader housing.
Loader house.
Absolutely ridiculous. I'm using him on Baby Park.
So you use loader house on something else on ranked. I can't remember a while ago.
Yeah, I do. I mean, so it's like, every once in a while they'll kind of peek out and go peekaboo. I'm still here. So, I mean, the regret's there always, but in the long run, they do have their value. We just forget it. You know what I mean? That's all.
I mean, it goes back to saying, whenever you take something to 7, it's going to have some kind of value to you. So the origami glider will be like that. I mean, even though
it'll get something.
It'll have something, but it's a gamble. I mean, you have to understand that. So, going into this, like when I did that mint berry thing, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Basically, this is my tour where I'm gonna go all out, crush it, no regrets. You hear me say
no regrets.
And if it ends up crapping out, that's fine. Even though I'm not gonna get top 10, even though I have the loadouts for it, I'm well above my personal high. I'm having a blast, and
Proud of you, bro.
The no regrets. I can't stop thinking about that one movie where they get the tattoo with the A and stuff. But that phrase. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan because there's a lot of things you can regret in life. But what I like to say instead is shooter's gonna shoot. Like you play this game. You can't play this game to shoot, man. Like you can't. You're not going to get top 10 by just not trying. So the fact that you try, the fact that you put it out there, shooter's gonna shoot, man. You're a competitive guy. You put yourself out there, and you know what? Shooter's gonna shoot, man. No one can get mad at that.
That's it. You got to add to shirts.
I'll tell you a story. This is about my dad. This is a story about with my dad when I was growing up, because I was really shy in high school and with girls and stuff, and we'd have homecoming dances and stuff. And my dad, he was kind of out there when he was growing up, and I'd tell my dad, he'd ask me, "Did you have fun at the dance?" Like, yeah. He's like, "Well, did you dance?" Like, no, I just kind of came back. He's like, "Why?" It's like, "Well, because the dance is you know, if you go out and dance, you get the girls. What are you gonna do? Like, you're not gonna get anything if you're sitting out on the side. You got to score, or you know, he even said that.
That's smart.
He said score. Wow.
Yeah, my dad. So
Big deal.
it's like, you know,
Oh, Dad.
it's a, that's what kind of my dad likes. It's like, you know, you think you're just trying to play safe, but you know, you gotta go for it once in a while, you know. So
Shooter's gonna shoot, man.
That's
Shooter's
right.
gonna shoot. Well, you know, talking about shooting, SM Bros asked a question, which I think Larry98 will set us up pretty well. He says, of all the tracks that have been seen in Mario Kart Tour, which tracks do you recommend if you want to boombox? And I know boomboxing has already struck some chords on this group, but Larry, he decided to take one for the team and answer the question with the most boombox tracks in the game. I'm not sure if you have those ready to pull up, Larry.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, no. So I'm not a boombox guy, but I was like, I have a sheet. I can just type in stuff and then filter it out. So I just sorted the tracks by most middle shelf coinbox drivers, and that's 3DS Bowser Castle Rebirth with 5 coinbox drivers, N64 Kalimaides a 2RT with 5, and then Hooper Cape T 3DS Bowser Castle Kalimaides a 2 reverse. Remix Ghost Valley 1T, and Remix Choco Island 2 with 4 middle shelf comics drivers. Yeah,
Some of those
and
tracks
that will
we've seen
also
this
be
weekend.
part of my sheet. So I just
So-
added that like 2 hours ago.
There's the plug. All right. Yeah. So the sheet is coming for things like this, and to help you also realize when something's getting cut boosted, or pipe boosted, whatever boost it's getting. But yeah. I mean, I think in a lot of cases, some of these tracks you just mentioned, we've seen this summer, right? You know, so like I do think that boomboxing is not dead. They've given us a little too many boomboxes, but what?
Yeah.
I is there anyone here on the call who likes boomboxing, or are we burnt out? New question. It's not on the sheet, not on the pre thing. But does anyone like boomboxing? Is boomboxing do we enjoy that still?
I don't like the expectation that comes with it. That's why I don't tend to really, you know what I mean? I've seen action counts up to 270, 260. It's just the expectation that I think that I expect from it. It's just not a place that I, really want to go in during, you know what I mean, hours, maybe an hour or two of gameplay. I'm more of a like on the giant banana, just more having a fun still, Lucky 7. I mean, but I take my hat off to anybody that boomboxes. I mean, literally, guys. I mean, that's not easy. I've had cups where I can't even compete with the driver, the boomerang, and I have a triple cap coin box level 8, and there's just nothing you could do. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I could see why people do it. It's just it's a grind. So anybody that does it, I literally, good job.
I mean, I'd say if you have the time. I mean, the thing with boomboxing is I don't know, how much is it more skill dependent or luck dependent?
That's all luck. That's not skill. That's luck. 100% luck. That's luck.
I don't know.
I think you need time also. I think you need the time to invest also. There's a lot to do with it.
The thing is, here's the thing. I'm sorry, go ahead.
With the Lucky 7, I think a Lucky 7 is more skill dependent than luck.
Well, I do agree with Lucky 7 is more skill dependent, because I don't think a lot of people realize that single Lucky 7s are powerful.
Yeah.
And on tracks that the action counts are at 170, some of the Vanilla Lakes prime example, even a triple coin, even a double Lucky 7, it's not going to net you that. It's the single Lucky 7s. And I've learned that from some of the people that you spoke about before.
Yeah.
It was a prime example, is that they're just so powerful. So in that sense, I looked at it like it was a true skill. You know what I mean? Boomerang, don't get me wrong, I'm not putting it down. I'm not saying it's not a skill. I just think it's more when Nintendo's going to bless you. You know what I mean? Because after that, it's just patience. You get the 2 coin box drivers and you just wait for the guy to spit out coins. So it's more of like a patience kind of game with boombox.
So you guys all have done a phenomenal job, fully flushing that out probably 95%. The one last 5% I want to flush out is that if you think about this game and getting that optimal run, in many cases, we mentioned it earlier, comes down to time. And like sometimes if you think about it like an odds, right? So like, hey, the odds of me getting a coin box frenzy right here, right now is this, and so I'm going to use these odds to my advantage. I think what takes skill with a boombox frenzy is being in the very, very specific window and using the skill to be able to be in that optimal window as often as you can in a short period of time as you can. Does that make sense? So it's like, being in 5th, 6th place, like in that very unique spot, and like, and not just, I actually think that as you go through an item box, where you are throughout the roll does impact what you get. Not just the moment you go through that item box, but like the whole time it's rolling, where you are in that specific set of ranges. I actually think that, increasing your chance of let's say you are going through and you go through that item box in spot 7, 8, right? You have no chance of getting a boomerang. You have no chance of getting a boombox. So like increasing that percentage so that every single time you go through the item box at that perfect window, that actually is harder. What I've realized over the last month, that is actually much harder than I think it is. And so by maximizing the time to every single time going through that item box at that same over again, because sometimes you're doing it for like 20, 30 minutes, an hour, and so you just get fatigue, and then like you slip up and you're starting going through at 7, you're starting going through at 4, and then like there is some parts to that where like you have to, that does take a skill. And I do think that someone who is able to go through every single time and just consistently, like that's a different skill. It's a skill. It's a different skill that I don't have. But I'm okay with boomerang, but like it does take a lot of finesse. Just in the same way as like you said, what I've realized, kind of going back to our giant banana talk earlier, is that with giant banana, I can get to 85% of my gain, or what's considered an optimal run, very, very quickly. But I actually cannot break 95% almost ever. I have a really, really hard time breaking 95% with giant banana, because I cannot just to get the double giant banana frenzy and then a coin, or then get something else in addition, is
very rare.
I've never done it. Like I've maybe done it like once or twice, and like for me, like for a run, that is to know that I cannot hit that ceiling is very, very tough. Whereas for boomerang, like I know that it's gonna take some time, but when I get that boomerang and just a coin, or just even a banana, I can get 100% on that action count. If I get that boomerang and just get something else, I'm getting 100%. And for me, I know that ceiling is so high. To know that I'm getting that ceiling, and that's why when we have this action count combo competition, I think the last 5 drivers that we've had won that competition have all been boomerang drivers, because that ceiling is so high. So I know if you get the boomerang, you get the coin, boom, done, walking off, you feeling like you've crushed that day. And so like there is something to that. Boomerang is growing on me. Is it growing on anyone else, or is it just me?
I've grown on me.
Not
If
growing.
I had it at a high level, it would grow on.
That giant banana is getting gianter.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with anything that you just said, StudFit. But I also think Godmode brings up a good point too, which is it seems like the art of boomboxing is controlling what you can control, but you are beholden to things that you cannot control coming through for you. So there is that 100%. Element there. I mean, 100%. Yeah. To be a boombox driver, a player of this game, excuse me, you've got to have the time. But I'll just be honest with everybody in the chat right now. If I had the time, I still wouldn't do it. because my experience boomboxing, I mean, after the 10th and the 15th reset and trying to get the lobby right, like there is no fun, there is no joy.
Yeah. Same way.
Like, it's just
I had this moment where I realized, and this was with Luigi Vacation. I actually invested quite a bit in him, and I don't regret that. But I've realized Boomerang is a really fun skill to play with when you're not getting boomboxes. And I kind of like playing with boomerang drivers and using the boomerang to scoop up the coins on the track that are there and, you know, knock opponents silly. And then occasionally I'll be surprised with the opportunity to boombox, and that's exciting. But if I sit down and try to boombox my way through a track, that is exactly what's going to burn me out on this game, and I'll be out. And I just don't want that to happen.
I don't do it. Yeah.
No, that's a good point. No, that's a really good point. You know, and you're right. I know that if I have 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, which is the majority of the time I play.
Well, I mean,
I'm not going to try to boombox.
You guys are both right. I mean, StudFit, you make a very good point. Not gonna lie. I mean, yeah, EDietel, very good point. I mean, it all goes down to what you prefer. That's what it really does. I mean, in when you're looking at the true numbers, I mean, I'd probably lead towards StudFit, but like, I mean, for me personally, I don't want to risk, you know, the fun. It's a game, so yeah.
I will say a lot of the ways I play are kind of twofold. There's the way I play, which is just casually bathroom breaks, like in between making my sandwiches for my sons. Like that's the bulk of when I play. There's also other times where I don't know, like I'm on like a conference call and I don't have to talk or anything like that. I'm just like I'm mindlessly going through item boxes. Let's just put it that way. You know, kind of hoping for that boom box, and just when it happens, I'm like, whatever happens on that call from that moment forward, I have no idea what happens. But like to me, like that's okay. It's doing the background, and it's to be honest with you, it's okay. But like I have to be in the right mindset. I have to be wanting to be doing that for boombox, and you know. It's I don't know, for whatever reason it's grown on me in a very unique way, and for me, like I'm always constantly, man, one of the tracks that beat me up the most was this Baby Park T, the one with Pinja, which I love using Pinja, but I could just not break. I think it was like 93%. I just could not break it, and I was using the special strategy, which Angela let us know about, which is using the ticket immediately, closing down the game. And then, and just not using that item ticket, but like using the item ticket immediately before you even get to the even before you get to the first item box. And that is the strategy there. But I kept closing on my app, I already hit like the level that I wanted to, and I smartly saved that. But like, I don't know, that got old pretty quick too. So to me, like there was something. Now here's the thing. Here's why I liked Luigi Vacation, and then we have one last question, and before we wrap. But one of the things I actually really liked about you mentioned it, EDietel, about Luigi Vacation, that I liked more than any other boomerang driver, is that he has these tracks, which I think I'm going to tell Intel. He needs to put this into his algorithm. He has a lot of tracks with 200 and plus action count, and where like say to your point there, Jeeves, Yoshi Valley T, like you can get 200 actions in your sleep.
Yeah.
Yes.
He has a lot. I wonder if he has more of those tracks than any other boomerang driver, because there's so many chances where you can just like, dude.
Even a boomerang frenzy is ridiculous, because all of those coins on the jumps. I mean, plus you're smacking all of the players, getting the points from the hit plus the action. I went on to Yoshi's Valley and I ran it for 2 hours. I finally got to 200, but it wasn't with the boomerang. And then my buddy Jedi goes on to it. It just gives a boomerang frenzy, no boombox, 1 coin, and blew me out by 4 or 5K. I couldn't believe it. Just the actions that the boomerang even nets. I'm on board with you, StudFit. Trust me, I would love to give it a shot. It's just that I just never really invested into them. I really have my Luigi's at 2. My all of the boomerangs besides Ninja and Kangaroo, those are at 7. But most of the other ones I just haven't. but now I'm seeing what these things can do and what they can produce. And I'm an ACR racer. So, I mean, that is like cream of the crop if you really want to look at it. So in the future, I definitely have seen how you can catch the boomerang buzz. You know what I mean? I could see how it could happen. And I just finished Coinbox, so maybe I'll start, in the future investing into it because I want to have fun with the boomerang too. It's an awesome skill, guys.
I think investing in one heavily is good. I know I do talk to Raker, and he's like, I've invested into like 6 boomerang drivers, and it's pretty exhausting. I'm like, yeah, I would never do that. That would be something I would do to like my worst enemy. But like he's in it. He loves it, and that's his thing. And like he go, and honestly, it pays off for him very well. He's outperformed.
Well, he
majority of the players
crushed it. He crushed it on that.
He crushes it. He absolutely.
On the Piranha Tour, which was very boombox heavy. I think he got, what, did he get a top 25 on that one? That was really,
yeah. Well, I think he had like something like 20 boombox tracks. He said he's like, this tour's a little light. I have like 9 boombox tracks. I'm like, oh my gosh, that sounds terrible. But in our top 10, I think we have 4 boomerang drivers. So, for what it's worth, one of those is Mario Samurai, which I think he has phenomenal coverage in a bubble. And, outside of that bubble, it's for those established players, it's not that great. But one of the questions I want to kind of pivot to before we wrap up, because I think this is one of the hottest topics in our server specifically, is should the Gold Mii Suit be the #1 driver? Should a driver that maybe half the community even has by being in tier 80 be our #1 spot in the game, even if they don't have access to it? And kind of tying in like all these other lucky top, if you look at this top 10 and how many boomerang drivers, how many lucky 7, I'm really proud of the top 10 where it's at, but we're always open to suggestions. And I think this is one that Frenzy Friends brought to our attention, and it's a really good question. I think he is trying to tap into a lot of what his community is talking about, which might be a little bit more of the free to play, a little bit more of the gold pass, saying, I don't have that driver. This is deflating, and it could drive them to quit the game. I don't know. What do you guys think about the Gold Mii Suit and where it's at? I mean, should it be the #1 driver in the game?
I personally think it results back to who you really associate yourself with. I mean, if you're in a group of people that are ACR racers, and that's going to be the top spot, in my opinion, the Gold Mii Suit. But I mean, if you surround yourself with people that do boom boxes, a giant banana, they might look at that and say, no, that's not. So I just basically think it's who you kind of surround yourself with. You know what I mean? As far as Gold Mii is concerned, is it the #1 suit in the game? I would say probably with the coverage it has, yes. Now the block is on its way up. So, I mean, as far as points wise are concerned, the Gold Mii it sets the bar. You know what I mean? But I think it just all depends on the individual racer and who you surround yourself with.
I'm wondering, should the #1 driving the Mii, should that be for the players or for Nintendo? That's kind of, so like, I think if you're just the players, I would say no in the respect, because like if there's, the game just needs to constantly evolve. So like, you have like a Black Great Sale or a Silver King. I mean, those will eventually they won't be extinct, but they're gonna fade. I mean, it's just the way it is. I would think the Gold Mii is gonna maybe someday be like that. I don't know. It might take long.
Even with the base points going up.
Right.
If they introduce a new cap, say for instance, they introduce a new cap, which I think they're going to do.
Let's say they introduce
especially with them introducing 2 more Mii suits. You know what? I'm going to love my Meowser again.
Right, but let's say they introduce another coin box.
That's #1 in my books. You know what I mean? As far as coin boxes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what if they introduce another coin box, Stu? The thing is, though, like, if I were, if I'm in Nintendo's shoes, I would think that the people who are actually paying money to play the game and enjoy the game and compete in the game, those are the people that I want to please the most without giving them like this huge advantage. Now it's a really gray area to see if this Mii Suit really is in that. So I don't know.
They introduce a new cap. My basic result for the Gold Mii is he probably will go very low in my book because of his size. If they reintroduce a new cap and they could bring my Meowser, they could bring King Bomb up to the same base. The only thing that separates this guy from anybody else is the base points.
It's the base points.
Yeah.
It's the base points.
Let's
But
say you had
I
another-
still think of
Let's say you
size.
add another cap to other drivers and stuff. I mean, you'll get
But you can't take that away from him.
That he
no,
has
Grow.
now.
yeah. But
I don't know how they offer unless it can't be a cap ticket. It would have to be something else that only they offer to exclusive like non-Miis. So if it was like a Mario family bonus or something like that they just, I don't know. But it's not a
But
cap
that would be
ticket. 'Cause
awesome.
a cap ticket, no, I mean like if you think about how level tickets and cap tickets work, everyone you can use it on Miis, you can use it on anything. So it would have to be like a special separate type of ticket in my opinion.
Only focused on that.
Only focus
Yeah,
on
but
like
the thing
original
is- That would make
Mario.
But the thing is, though,
But that's
then
gonna
there's the
to G's
coverage.
point, that's gonna alienate all the people that they want to adore.
You're right.
That's I mean, I don't know. I'd be upset about that.
I mean, they gotta eventually do something because the people who don't invest in Miis are gonna eventually stop playing the game because the
Yeah.
base points on Miis are gonna continue to go up and up and up, and the people like
Does
EDietel
Mario does
going on
Nintendo
Miis suits,
care?
What are they gonna do?
Does
But
Nintendo care about those people?
Well, they're
compared
trying to get you to get rid of your gold pass, so maybe they don't care.
Did you see the revenue that Nintendo made last year? That's the second highest mobile game out of all their games. I think the first one I can't remember the name of the first game, but it's the second grossing highest game. in the
Easily, it's
platform.
gotta be.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
Do they? I don't know if they care. I mean, the money's just going. So
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't know.
So I'll kind of wrap this because I think we could probably talk about this for an hour, but we do have to kind of wrap up here. So I will give you one example. I still play this game. My son, I'll back up. My sons loved Space Jam, the new one with LeBron James, came out last summer, and they played this one RPG game have Looney Tunes. It's called World of Mayhem, and it's a fun game that I do mostly just like to just check in and do some stuff. Anyway, my main point is that the way that this game is set up is that they introduce teams, and each team is incrementally better than the last team that they released. And so they slowly make these older teams not as strong as these new teams. It makes you want to invest in these new teams. And again, you don't have to know much more than that, but that's the main point is like they incrementally offer things that are better slowly over time, making the older things obsolete. And there are a couple things that still hold some value. And it's an RPG, so there's different things you can freeze people. Anyway, the main point is like most of these games do go through a progression where they do make new things more attractive and do kind of sunset some of the older items that used to be king. If you think about, say Peach Vacation, she used to be the #1 driver in the game.
Yeah,
Slowly she has been sunset. Slowly her value has become pretty close to obsolete to a certain extent, except for some cheap lagoons. So I do think that Nintendo does want to slowly do this. Now, what I think is about the Miis is that they've made it so abrupt. It's been so like, hey, all of a sudden everything prior to January is now, left in the dust. So do they catch those things up? I don't know. But they have to, or else the Miis just take over.
Yep.
Which I don't know. Like unless we actually talk to someone from Nintendo about why they are doing that, like to fight it and just saying it's not happening is very, very tough. So I do hope that there is some kind of like, Mushroom Legacy, fun bonus, yay, and like you can take up the base points of like all these non-Miis. I really hope that happens one day, but for now, I do think that they are trying to make new players feel like they can not just catch up, but they can actually win and they have a chance.
Yeah.
That's my thought. I will take 2 other rebuttals on that, and then we're gonna probably wrap up. But guys, am I crazy?
No.
I agree. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I don't know, Larry 98. What do you
Doing
think?
a good job as he's keeping us thinking.
Yeah.
That's the
Exactly.
overall thing. They're keeping us engaged and thinking of what they're gonna do.
It's constantly evolving. It's all it's doing.
All right. Well, so guys, we're now 2 hours into this. That flew by.
Oh, good.
I know we can talk about Miis IGs for I promise you another 3 hours. But we're gonna wrap things up. The way that we've been wrapping things up this really for the last 6 months has just been if you were to sit in front of a player who is relatively new to the game, think about maybe started in the last 3 months, maybe just since the Miis have started. Like what one piece of advice would you give to them? We'll start with the two new players, or two people who have joined us here who are joining us for the second time only. So EDietel and Godmode. I'll let Godmode, you start first. What piece of advice would you have for a new player? And then say goodbye to your fans that have joined you for a second episode.
My advice would probably be around the same as the first advice, is to get yourself involved with the right group of people. You know, people that have a little bit of knowledge of the game, people that know that, okay, do not level that up. It's not going to do anything. But, you know, people that actually have knowledge of what is going to give you what. If I invest my tickets into, all these different carts. If I were to throw everything into this cart, what would it really give me? I mean, if you were to surround yourself with those seasoned vets or just people that really dove into the game, your investments will be prime, because half of my investments I wish I could take back. So if you can get yourself surrounded by a group of people that, you know, that have invested into the game and know what is going to give you what, and what new tracks or what new drivers give what, and can give you the best advice they can, I think that is just the way to go if you're a new player, to be honest with you. And guys, to everybody out there, thank you for having me on for a second time. It was a pleasure. And hello to the whole Mario Kart world.
Yeah, fun fact, we actually had a late dropout, and I said, hey, Godmode, this is a crazy thought, but like, are you available in like an hour and a half? And
it went fast.
And he made himself available. So I'm so thankful that you joined, and very, very grateful that it's an absolute pleasure every time that I've known you for now over 2 years, and it's been an absolute pleasure interacting with you. You know what's interesting? Two things I kind of want to say on that is, like, I do think because of how fast the game was progressing, there was a time where, like, even say Vampire Flyer, where I invested in it, I'm like, this is so cool, and then, like, you know, a month later I was like, oh man, I guess it's not Halloween anymore, so like I'm not able to enjoy this thing anymore. And by having like these 4 tours in a row, I'm able to enjoy some things a little bit longer. Things I invested in, just again, we're not talking like, you know, exponential, but like instead of a month of you know, Halloween, you know, festivities, fun, like I can actually use my investments just twice as long, which is a lot, but like it's not like forever, but it's just an extra month. And so there's that piece. And there was one thing I was going to say earlier, but I didn't get to talk to it, and I think it's actually a perfect transition to EDietel. Is that EDietel, you were talking about Giant Banana and, you know, the Mii Suits, and it's hard to invest in the Mii Suits. It's interesting. So my son created an account just to play our Monday multiplayer, our member multiplayer Mondays, and he's been having a blast joining in with the other members, and we've been showing our camera and having a lot of fun. And he's like, Dad, I really want this ice cream Mii Suit. And he didn't say Mii Suit, but he's like, I want this ice cream head. And I'm like, all right, buddy, let's talk about this for a second. So, you know how like you asked about this 10 pole, and you've been like hype, like he's been like literally like, how can I find 5 rubies? I was like, I'm not telling you about packs. And he's like, I'm 5 rubies away, Dad. What do I do? I'm like, well, we can get Kart Pro. You can let Daddy race for about 10 minutes. No, and like I'm like, but here's the thing: if 70 rubies means that you cannot do a 10 pull and a little bit more, he's like, screw that, dude. I'm not doing that. Like that's lame. I want the 10 pull. I want to get some, you know, red shell brother, you know, hammer bro or something. I'm like, all right. Like, hey, dude, it's your account. Like, you can do whatever you want. He does not. He wanted the Mii because it looked cool and it was featured on the shop. But when it came to the brass tacks, he did not like. And he actually thought about doing a 10 pull or putting a 10 pull and a half into just one suit. his, and again, I'm just thinking like his nature and like in how we think is just the most basic humans, and probably even lower than that for my son. But like his thought process, I'm not doing that, Dad. I want to do a 10 pull. I want to go for the item. And if you think about it, you know, Godmode brought up a good point. Is like when you break it down, you're putting 100 and something, 200 and something to get one item, really. But you're getting a lot of items along the way. Is that more valuable or less valuable? And I think our human nature is, I want to do the 10 pull. That's why we play this game. I want to do the 10 pull. Let me do the 10 pull. All right, so EDietel, sorry for that distraction. But you brought up a good point. Is like, you know, you want the giant banana. You don't want to spend it on the Miis. And for you, like that's a perfect segue to introduce and let you say goodbye to all of your fans, as well as also one piece of advice you'd have for a new player.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, if you're a relatively new player to the game, I think it's important to understand that there are different ways to play this game. You know, there's a diverse enough, I mean, we joke about your server being the place where white dads play, but the truth is there is a diversity of play styles in our community that is refreshing. So I would say the biggest piece of advice that I would give is, and this is something I've heard Kevin Garrett talk about a lot, is sort of make a decision about what you want to build your account around. Think about the you know, the certain coverages that make sense for you, but you got to have some kind of a focus. Otherwise, you're going into every pipe Nintendo throws at you blind, and that's exactly what they want you to do. But if you have a focus of some kind that you can begin to build around, and then, you know, find what excites you and find your joy. There are players who play this game and spend their time doing things that don't do anything for me. But I think it's very cool that we get to share this space and we get to share this community together. And that's been fun. And you know, the community really is where it's at. I think back to when this game first came out and it was brand new. I don't really know if there was a community, but I certainly wasn't a part of it if there was. And it was like, but you know, it was sort of a lonely existence. And then you know, some people kind of reached out to me and invited me into some of these community spaces, and it's been one of the better decisions that I've made. So find what makes you happy. And I mean this last thing in a positive way. It's going to sound a little negative, but I mean it in a positive way, which is you gotta be in communication with people so you can learn from the mistakes that other people have made. And sometimes those are small. They're just investments that didn't pay off. And usually we're all too willing to talk about that. But again, I keep coming back to this. There were really important parts of this community that are no longer with us. And I think the things that burned them out are things that are avoidable. So we can learn from these bigger mistakes too. You know, come and join us and, you know, stick around for a while.
That was really well said, EDietel. I appreciate that, man. It's so wise. I mean, if you just want to listen, you can hear mistakes we've made. Probably more. If you just avoided half my mistakes, you probably have a successful account.
We have a Kart Talk on our mistakes.
Yeah, Frenzy Grind, you were the last to join us here. What would you say would be one piece of advice to a new player?
God, it's so hard to come up with something different every time you're on. Jeez. I would say to new players, just ease in, build your account up slowly. Don't become addicted. You know, just have fun. Just enjoy the game. Have fun. The Miis are coming, so don't be afraid to embrace it. I'm your prime example. I was anti-Mii, and now I'm pro Mii, and I'm building my account, and my account's becoming a lot stronger because of it. And no, new players can't get the Gold Mii and, you know, the stronger Miis, but you can start somewhere. So just strategize, talk to people in the community, figure out what's best for your account. Just have fun. We're all here to support. Figure out what's best for your account. You know, see how competitive you want to play. If you just want to have fun, if you want to go for ACR, you got plenty of people in this Discord, in this community, who are going to support you. So figure out how you want to play, and we're all here to support. So that's it.
Well said. In fact, I'm a little jealous of your Miis right now. You might be ahead of me.
I literally came out of the graveyard. I don't even know how it happened.
You're
I do.
crushing it. You're crushing it. Talk about the graveyard.
We won't go there though.
Yeah. Talk about the graveyard. Jeeves, you might be there this week, having to try to grind for whatever you're going for. But yeah, what piece of advice would you have? You've probably said this probably 20 different what would you say to a new player? But
Yeah, I think like frenzy ground. I don't know. I think the first thing that right now comes up on top of my head, because my son's been playing a little, he's dabbling back a little bit. He doesn't struggle, but like, because I mean he's still kind of winning rank, but like there's been some times where he's he gets a little anxious because he's losing a little bit, and I've been telling him, I said, look, learn to keep a combo going. Don't I don't think he realizes the how many more points you get by keeping a combo going, even if you might even lose a race or something. So that's kind of what I do, learn kind of fundamentals. I think one of those important ones is just keeping a combo going, because you really get a lot of those bonus points if you're really looking to up your score. So probably a very vanilla answer, but
no, I mean to piggyback off that, if you feel like you can keep combo really well, try to get an extra mini turbo in there.
Right, that's exactly. He's focused. Like, it's kind of like when I started playing, I just tried to race to win. I didn't care about points or anything. But now, like, he's gone through some ranked cups and stuff. I said, try, when you're going straight, just try, veer, try to do a little mini turbo in there, hit the wall, come back, do it again. So, yeah.
I'm with you there. And I'll give my piece of advice and say goodbye to my fans before we turn things over to the 1 full year anniversary, Larry.
Larry.
It's now like 6 a.m. for it, but so like my piece of advice would be like, hey, once you've captured that mini turbo and you're keeping combo really well, try to fit in if you're getting ultra mini turbo outside of on our friends coming out of a frenzy, you should have an ultra mini turbo every single time. That one of the things that I stopped doing was, there'd be times where I'd hold ultra mini turbo, but then like right before the frenzy stopped, I would be turning left instead of the turbo that I was holding right. So I'd let it go and I'd start my mini turbo left. Well, what that does is you don't get the ultra mini turbo anymore because you let it go during your frenzy. So I would actually just like wait a couple seconds. I might like be in an awkward spot because I'm like heading into a wall, but making sure to let go of that ultra mini turbo, even if it doesn't like, I'm not perfectly ready to let go and jump into my line. But I'm getting the ultra mini turbo that I've held on to all that time. And as compared to just like, hey, releasing it too early and not getting the actions. Again, I don't think anyone's talked about, I don't think I've ever heard that in the history of talking about this piece of the segment. So really, really helpful thing that I just learned, again, because I'm an idiot. But then the second piece is like trying to get like an extra mini turbo in there. If you feel like, especially on these T tracks, there's so many times like on this Sunday, Sky High Sunday T, where I'm just getting an extra mini turbo on there. Like you're basically, the track is keeping combo for you about 80%, 90% of the whole track. So just get mini turbos in there in between. I can guarantee you'll get to 200 actions before you know it. So that's my one piece of advice is just, hold that ultra mini turbo all the way through the unfrenzy, even if it's in an awkward spot on the track. And then 2 is just get an extra mini turbo throughout the trick tracks especially. And that's my piece of advice. Now turning to the 1 full year anniversary to our beloved Larry 98, who's put so much time and energy into the spreadsheets. So thankful to have you in the community. So thankful to have you supporting this channel in so many different ways, both with your time, energy, even in finances as well. What piece of advice would you have to new players? And then what would you like to say to your fans? And then why don't you go ahead and say goodbye to us as well?
Yeah, okay. So yeah, thanks first. And I already want to reserve my spot for season 3, episode 3 at 3 a.m. in a year. To make it clear that the spot is already reserved, that you're not searching someone else there. And probably something biased. I would, because I'm a data guy, I would say watch the rundown and also watch the ACR game plan for Matt and Flo. Like,
Yeah.
but you can watch both. They overlap a bit, but they offer unique things. And so invest those like 3 hours a tour. It's very useful. And then use the ACR board from Jimmy and Harrier. Use all the spreadsheets, DKR, NTLEF, MKD, Ben, Weichenbach, sheets, card size ranking, and and maybe there will be another sheet soon, so which people can also use them. Maybe.
Yeah, great resources. Those bots are phenomenal. Well, good guys. Well, thank you for
something really quick before Larry sends us off. I promise I do this. I really want to say happy birthday to Frenzy Fanboy. We miss you. We hope you had a good birthday. Happy birthday, Frenzy Fanboy.
Yeah, Larry 98. You want to properly send us off?
Can I just show something first?
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. This isn't where like Jeeves takes off his shirt, right? This is
No, hopefully not. But if I didn't do this, my daughter would kill me.
Okay.
I just want to show this. So she made a drawing out of chalk of Toad, and she made me show this tonight. If I didn't, I'd get in a lot of trouble. So without looking at anything.
That's awesome.
Cool, dude.
I mean, she didn't even look at a tracing or anything. So
Wow.
Awesome, bro.
I love the
I
background.
had to show it or she would kill me. So
Oh.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but
Huge hitbox right there.
I mean, really. Go on.
cool.
Sorry.
Very cool. All right, Lady 98, you want to send us off, man? You want to wish everyone some frenzy luck?
Thanks for watching all, and be the frenzy luck forever in your favor. Goodbye. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
Everybody.